Have you ever been blinded by your problems to such an extent that you couldn't even see the solution? Or maybe someone's told you the solution and your blindness couldn't comprehend it. If so, tune into this episode of Man Talk. Okay, so has anyone ever talked to you and gave you a potential solution to a problem, and almost as soon as it left their lips, you were dicing up on why it could never work?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I do that a lot of times with, I could get myself into trouble, but...
Sure. Go ahead, do it. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, no, but some people that are very, very health-minded, and I'm health-minded.
Sure.
But
you just lost a lot of weight. You're looking great.
Yeah, well, thanks. So you too. If there's some people that are really, really health-minded that have a solution for every little problem.
Okay.
And so I know those people, and as soon as they open their mouth, I shut them down.
Sure. Okay. Yeah,
it's wrong.
Right.
It's wrong because what their solution is, they're trying to help me. But my experience in the past has been
not ready to receive it.
I'm not ready to receive it. That's exactly right. How about you? You have anything?
Oh yeah, for sure. And for instance, when someone gives you a solution, you know, like for instance, if someone said, "Hey, I know how you can lose weight. You could exercise every day and stop eating sugar," and I'm like, "Well, you lost me at sugar," you know, because I don't love what that's going to give me as much as I love sugar, right? And so if you've ever talked to somebody, again, trying to help them in an area, and every logical solution you give them, they shut it down, that's a problem, right?
Yes.
And it becomes a bigger problem from a spiritual standpoint. And I think this is a big deal. There are people in this world, people in this room, there have been times where Jesus has, and just his pure, this is the simplicity of the gospel. I love you. I want to be with you forever. I've provided a way to remove everything that's preventing that, to remove everything that's hurting you so that we can be together forever. It's that pure. It's that perfect. It doesn't have to be complicated. However, when you hear things like this, or someone suggests something like, "Hey, come to church," or "Hey, you should pray," or "Hey, you should," something that would draw you closer to Jesus, the devil is right there to say, "Oh, no. These are all the reasons why you shouldn't even attempt a solution." And so we're blinded by these things that control us.
Yeah. And there's times where, like you say, before they even tell me the solution, and it's a really good solution, I've shut it down because of my selfishness, my inability to change or want to change. I'm the smarter person, that type of thing. It's discouraging, but I block it. I block it.
So here's what I think is a solution. If you can mentally do this, and this has been, I've been very, very successful when this has happened in my life. And that is, and this isn't just talking about spiritual things, but anything in general. When I say in my mind, right, that I'm just going to focus on the positives of this situation and not the negatives, it frees me up.
Oh, it does. Yeah.
Because whereas, you know, for instance, even if we talked about exercise, hey, you know what? When I exercise, I feel great. You know, whether it's playing a sport or doing something I enjoy, fresh air, whatever. I know that when I get done with it, I really like it. If I focus on the positives of that and I give zero time and energy to all the reasons why it can't happen.
I don't have time.
Right. Yeah. Then it frees me up to put my energy there. And so, right now the scale is just like, it's just weighted down of I love sugar, I'm so busy, I eat late. Right. But if I put all my time and energy in that other thing, it's going to start.
Another big weight is my dad did this.
Right.
It's just, my dad drank, my dad watched pornography or whatever it might be. I'm doomed for that. And
Correct. So that brings you back down, right?
Weight. Yeah.
But if you can say, that isn't my story. That isn't my narrative.
Exactly right.
In Christ, I can do all things, right? So all of a sudden, I put my time and energy. All of a sudden, that weight shifts, and then you hit a critical mass. Then you start getting momentum, right?
Yes, yeah.
To where your mindset changes.
Yeah, so good.
Right?
That's really good.
Right? We're in Romans 12, right?
Yeah.
Be transformed by the renewing of your mind, right? Exactly.
Yes, absolutely.
So through the power of Jesus, I can make those shifts. But I should know at the beginning, I'm actually going to be going counter my brain.
Yeah.
My body and my brain is screaming, you're never going to be this. And you have to keep saying, I'm not going to look at the negative. I'm only going to look at the positive.
We have to create those new synapses in our brains.
Right.
Because
you're forging a new trail.
Right, exactly right. And because habits are really tough to break, and habits of saying no, or I'm going to shut down that person, that's a hard habit to break. But looking at the positive of it, it's such a really good thought process. And then that's kind of a genius thing, the scale.
Yeah, put more time
in, but it takes some effort to say, you know what, in my life, anybody talk about weight, I never had trouble with weight, and I would just shut it down. I don't need that. I'm going to eat what I want to eat.
Yeah.
Right? And then when I hit that, I realized I had to make that determination.
Yeah.
I don't have the strength to do it, but I had to make that determination, and through God's help, then
right, because Jesus says you can do all things.
Yeah.
Like, to suggest that you're a victim and there's nothing you can do until Jesus comes is unbiblical, and it's not a promise of the Lord. It's a promise of the devil to suggest that you'll never gain victory over the things that are causing all these problems.
Right, and then it's not always just we're obstinate that I'm just not going to do it. Sometimes there's a veil there that we realize I don't even really need that.
Right,
and so there's that whole thing about I see it, I'm not going to do it, but sometimes I'm just, there's this veil that I don't even, as one of my friends would say, we all have this flat side. And I want that flat side to be revealed to me. And then I say, oh, I do need to change.
Yeah.
And so that veil is drawn back so we really see, oh yeah, this is who I am. And there's that Bible text that says, if you love me,
John 14,
you will, you'll keep my commandments.
Yeah.
It's not a command. You love me, right, Chad? It's a
promise.
You're going to keep my commandments. But it's a promise of, if you love me, the natural result of loving me is you're going to do these things. Right?
And this was a fundamental shift in my life too, that is to accept the things, accept where you're not. Like, I'm not where I want to be, and there are areas where you're excelling. So here's the thing, and this might be harsh, but I think this is true. There are certain areas of my life that clearly I don't love him more than this. So if there are things in my life that are destructive, that are causing problems, that it's just obvious, whether it's not, and sometimes they're not the extreme things like, hey, I'm a chronic liar. Well, it's so obvious I should stop lying. It's these other things that are taking me away from him, or even my relationship with my wife and my daughter. It's not, hey, I'm not spending time with my family because I'm doing something that's horribly wrong, because I'm spending more time in the garage, or something that's amoral.
Right.
But if I'm in a situation where I love being in the garage, or I love watching football more than them, I have to intellectually and be honest with myself and go, hey, right now, I love them more than that. Because that is the first step in getting victory, is saying, hey, in this area, I don't love them more.
Yeah.
But like I said before, the scale, the more you spend time with God, the more you spend time with your family, and you put emphasis on it, their shift will happen to where one day you'll go, oh yeah, I forgot the Lions were playing today. Or, oh man, I haven't been in the garage.
Yeah.
Like those types of things, you'll just love them more. Instead of looking at the negative and going, I can never address the solution because I have so much guilt and shame in my life focusing on my problems. No, that's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to push that aside, and I'm going to spend a relationship with Jesus, coming back to Jesus, that isn't complete, but I know it will be complete.
Yeah, exactly.
One day soon,
Right.
I'll not do that again.
Right. Old things are passed away.
Right.
And behold, all things become new. So that it's a miracle that it happens because we're so selfish anyway. So, but the miracle of spending time with Christ, that weight, he takes he pushes down on that scale. And before we know it, we were overcome. There's a fella that could not stop smoking, could not stop drinking, and could not stop swearing.
Yeah.
And he focused on that all the time. And he just drove him crazy. And one time, the more we studied the Bible, he got a brand new Bible with words he could understand. And I noticed that he didn't swear. Mm-hmm. He had stopped smoking. And he never talked about drinking anymore. And he says, I'm just such a bad person, And I said, when was the last time you swore? He goes, he said, I don't swear anymore. And it's because of that scale. He had spent so much more time accepting the love of Jesus Christ that those old things were passed away and he became new.
Right. Amen.
Yeah.
And that's the power of Jesus. And it's also the power of Jesus in you to make a start. So the challenge this week is start something. I don't care if it's a diet. You're like, man, I got 5 bags of candy and 3 tubs of ice cream.
And
Great.
Those potato chips.
Yeah,
They're
there.
Those
okay.
Traverse City potato chips.
You don't have to have a book burning every time you make, because often when you do that and you fall again, it's this massive deal.
Yeah.
Dude, just give it a day. Try it for a day, make a start. And if at the end of the day, to celebrate that 5 miles you ran, you had a bowl of ice cream, well, tomorrow.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
But keep your eyes focused on what you want to achieve. Don't focus on the negative, focus on the positive. And I'm not trying to say that, my humanity can do this. No. Beg Jesus to give you the power to make it happen. Sooner or later, with Jesus, that scale will tip and you will realize that I'm not sure the time, I'm not sure the day, but he gave me victory. And what I so desired by God's grace is mine.
Absolutely. And how do we focus on Jesus? Read one story a day.
Yeah.
Read one story a day about Jesus and to say, how did he treat people? And it's amazing what.
Right. And you might find the next day you might read 2.
Right.
And that's what happens.
Exactly.
What you focus on, you'll become.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, I like it.
Hey, thanks for watching Man Talk. Remember, 3 things. Love God.
Love everyone.
And duct tape fixes?
It fixes everything.
Everything. Thanks for watching.
See ya.